Alright, welcome back. Now today's going to be a little, hopefully a one episode project. I've got a little task to perform. Very good friend of mine, Johhny Cactus 0, you might have seen his channel. If you haven't, why not? There's a link underneath. Click on and subscribe. He's a great guy and he's into triumphs like myself and Penny Pit Stop. And he and his good lady, Mrs. Cactus, have a triumph apiece, pretty much like us. Now, a little while ago, I met Mr. Cactus. He made a bracket out of a chain guard, basically drilled a hole in the chain guard and put a little side mount on it, which is pretty cool, but the chain guard isn't made of sterling enough stuff to take the weight of just a little number plate bracket on the side. And obviously, as it's an unsprung item, it bounces up and down with the tyre. There's no suspension, it's an unsprung part of the bike. What it resulted in is a little, here it is, little detachment of this bottom bracket. So today's task is just to put this to rights. Now I'm going to see JC at the weekend, so I want to get this ready for then. So I'm going to hopefully try and make this a one-piece project. No part 1, 2, 3 or nothing. This will be it. Now, got a plan up here, so I'm not going to waffle about it and tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to crack on with it because I'm on a time limit. I want to get this done. It's already Thursday. I've got stuff to do tomorrow, so I'm going to do this tonight. One video right now. I'm going to clean all this up. That's going to be welded back on, and I'm going to strengthen it up because I think it's only made from, by the look of it, kind of 1.5 mil, not even that. Yeah, sort of 1.5 mil, 16 gauge steel. Not very strong. And I think if it's going to go back in place, it needs to be beefed up just a little bit. You know what it's like? It's got to be beef. So stick around, stay tuned. I'll show you what we do, and we'll see if we can make a good job of this. Right, the first thing is let's get some paint off it. Now I'm not going to use any chemicals. You could use paint stripper, but I don't like that because it has a habit of lingering. When you try to paint it, it trashes the paint job. I'm not also going to use a lapper because I don't want to mark the steel. I don't want to have to put too much paint on it and start body working it because something that's in that kind of vibrating environment doesn't want filler on it if you can help it. So first thing, get it in a vise. Before I do that, ready a couple of vice jaws, literally just out of some cardboard, and yeah, I know I can get them for a penny. Someone had a right go at me a couple of days ago for using a bit of a ghetto fix on something when they said I could buy it for £5. You know, honestly, sometimes you just haven't got the thing you need when you need it, so you have to make do amend, adapt, improvise and overcome. You know how it goes, boys. So this to me is a couple of bits of cardboard, ghetto vice jaws. There we go. Right, done. The obvious protection. Let's get the paint off. That's just that little broken off bit. Obviously you can't do that with the wire brush or you'll send it into the next dimension and never find it again. I just rub the old powder coat. This has turned out not to be paint after all, this is powder coated. So I've had to get the lapper on that, but I shall just linish that out with a sander afterwards before I paint it. Just got to get all the paint off, or powder coat as that is, because it will burn when I start welding it. And bugger up any paint finish that goes on it after. Right, a bit of card. I reckon. Right, pretty much a basic template. Look like a bird, right, whatever. Now that's going to get, just as a basic outline, to beef up that whole section so it's a bit stronger, and then I can weld that little piece on the bottom, on the back, and it will never come off again. So now we get that cut out of sheet metal. Work out the old jigsaw, I think. Jigsaw of doom. Just going to cut the whole thing proud so that when it's on the job I can just lap it back to exact. Easy to measure in it. Right. Okay, let's clamp you down, baby. Right, rough template. Okay, let's get that into proper shape. Right, so transferred to steel, pretty much, just a bit bigger than the template so I can grind it back. Right, let's get out of the way. Right, next thing is to bend it to shape so it fits in there. Make sure I've got enough overlappage. Yep. Do that. Pencil, even. Right. Okay, start bend there. Yep. Finish bend there. And that's it. So I'm just measuring. Where are you? There you are. I'm just measuring where that bend goes from, and it kind of starts there, which is the last place it's level, and then it comes back again about there. So I reckon that's where I need to bend the bracket, the new one, and it's the same. Just hold it tight. That end, need the arc of the bend to be between there. So bendage, we'll roll it the first arc in there. Making sure the metal one's bigger all over than the cardboard bit, but that was for a reason. There, just roughly transfer it. You can always address it later, just heat it and bend it back. Alright, it's that way, it's that way. So, and that gives you the right direction of the bend. So if you get the bend correct, line it up, it doesn't sit cockeyed. So we've got to find something suitable to bend that over, and I think the right thing is in the toolbox. That's it. Now the idea there has been to get a nice curve in this, because right there you are, this metal tends to kink because it's hot out. It's 1.5mm thick, 16 gauge, so it's too thick for just bending my hand. See how that fits. Perfect. Right, now that nice slow curve which mirrors that in an external fashion quite nicely, it gives me it gives me that side and the beginnings of that side, because I'm going to heat that and bend it actually using that as a jig. It's going to pull that round on it with some heat in a minute, but for now is a method of attachment. I just want to attach this through here and I'll show you how I'm going to do it. Right. I need about half a dozen small holes at strategic points. Not too close to the edge. Because I think the right way to connect this is plug weld it on. Alright, 4mm will do it. Okay, ready to set the welder up. Let's get the burrs off first. Sharp tip, strike up quick. There we go. All plug welded up, would leave none of there, and a reasonable amount of penetration through in all the places it needs to be. Because ultimately this is just a big fat washer. This is going to be bent down there now, so I'm going to heat that up and bend that down to match, and then weld the bottom piece on. There we are, snip, just in one go. Pop a little seam weld in that edge just to join it properly. Just a little seam to lap back. Right, there's a little hole at the back I want to weld up, so a little bit of copper, slide it underneath, clamp it down, and fill that up and weld. And we want it not too heavy, turn it down to a bit more wire speed. Let's go. Okay, this will be messy, but it's essential. I've got to weld that hole up because it doesn't need to be there anymore. Get your skill. Just welding up that little hole, lots of little pinholes in it. It's a bit big really to be welded up. Should have been plated really, but I'm on a time scale on this one. Right, and obviously not forgetting the reason we did all this in the first place. It needs to have a hole in it. A little 6mm hole that it started with. Burr off that. Right, now pretty much there we are. That's for you too, JC and Jen. That's where we are, bare metal. I'm going to stick some paint over it just so that we can move it around without getting kind of nucleus of rust in it. That's quite a big hole to have welded up, so I don't want to put any more weld in that because you can just blow out what's in there. Well, that's good and solid. It's taken the beat test and it's fine, so a little bit of paint over that be absolutely fine. But that is beef now, boys and girls. There we go. Now I'm just going to smooth it down, clean it up a bit and whack a coat of paint over it for good measure. Nearly done. Right, time's getting on. It's in primer, just whacked a couple of thick coats of primer over it. I'm just going to put a couple of 3 coats of black on. And my good mate JC, I'm sure, can finish it off. It is nice this stage of doing any fabricated job, any job at all. That's that last bit of laying on some paint. I think everybody knows that or feels that. Cut edges. Right, there we are, there's one coat. Right, here we go. That is 6 coats of black. I think we call it done. No runs. Alright, let's give you a look. There we are. That's the point of repair down there. That was just broken off, sheared across. So as you've seen, I just plated it all the way up, plug welded it through, and then give it a little bit of fabrication and replaced all the paint. 6 coats of satin black will dry right back, and the mate JC can do what he likes with that. Perhaps paint it a different colour, plastered it, whatever. But there it is. Right, so there we go. Now, I don't usually take on jobs for other people, but this was something special for someone special, just a kind of a one-off. So please don't request, can you do this for me, that for me, deal. I don't mind, it's very nice of you, but honestly, not enough hours in the day. This is a bit of a one-off, made the room for this because it matters to us, and that's why we wanted to do it. I'll leave it there. Now, the other thing is bash plate. I've got I reckon 3 videos at the most left on that. I'm going to put the mesh on the bash plate next, and then the frost wrap is going to come in the post. We've ordered it today, so once that's here, then we'll be able to get that finished and on the scrambler. Then hopefully I can start a remake of the Bandit. Now Bandit will be phase 3. Phase 1 was the makeover, which just made it matte black with some scrim. Phase 2 was the tail end. I didn't fit any more in because we ran out of time before the show, but phase 3 will be a completely different makeover. The bike is laid up dormant at the side of the garage at the moment, but it will be the project that could probably last through till the autumn, because we're riding the bikes now. Nothing much more to do on the Triumph, certainly without beating on the same horse all the time, so there's no point in that. So there you go, that's what it will be. Project Bandit coming up, phase 3, all sorts of fun things coming up with that, all sorts of weird and wild, wonderful plans. You'll have to tune in and see what happens when that one starts, okay? There we are, Project Chain Guard, 1 episode, done, finished. Right, take, see you next time.